Hi, welcome to valuationpodcast.com, a podcast and video series about all things related to business and valuation. My name is Melissa Gragg, and I own a valuation company in St. Louis, Missouri. I have the privilege of discussing nonprofit organizations, accounting, strategic planning, and management today with Tosha Anderson, a CPA and nonprofit accounting expert in St. Louis, Missouri. Mm-hmm. So what are some of the other ways that you help these firms kind of maybe be more efficient, or do you go in and give them some strategic planning or strategic suggestions of how to run the company?
Yeah, I like to joke that on my website, it says I do accounting services for nonprofits, but what I tell my clients, we're actually an IT company that happens to do accounting services for nonprofits. So in addition to, being, as I mentioned, a CFO at one point, and now I like to say I'm a CFO for many, I was an auditor for many years in public accounting, and I get audited. I think I've been audited every week since the third week of January, and I think I have an audit going on this week as well. So consistently since the third week of January, we're under audit. So for my survival and the betterment of my employees' mental health, we have to put plans and processes in place to make sure that with any level of confidence, we can get through those things. So some of the things that we look at is what is the most efficient from not just dollars, but man hours, right? Efficiency and the employee's effort, both on my side and their side. And then what is a technology that's going to be consistent, accurate, and timely for the benefit of getting through any of these particular audits? For example, if we have the requirement that every single invoice has to be approved by 2 different signatures, how can we use technology to capture that signature digitally and then file that in a place that can be retrieved with just a few clicks, rather than the old way of doing it? And by old way, I mean 5 years ago when I used to be a CFO of a nonprofit, where you have to shuffle the paper all around the office. You have to hunt down a board member outside of your 4 walls and hope that they're not traveling or out of town. And then you have to, cut the manual check, mail it, and then you have to file it. And at the end of the year, then you have to move those files out of your file cabinet and into storage. And then when the auditors come out and want you to retrieve some bills, then they will require you to go back to the storage shed and pull all the stuff out. It's just such a manual process. And frankly, those processes, when you're just trying to survive and get the check out the door, you forgot one of those signatures. And then, of course, the auditors are going to ding you for that. So how can we create systems that are just foolproof and focusing more on systems and the efficiency of those systems? That's really what accounting is, right? Systems. And if you can develop what that flow of information can look like, it could not just for the nonprofit space, but the for-profit. I think the challenge with the nonprofit, we don't have the time, capacity, or money, oftentimes, in those resources to invest in how do we work smarter and more proactively. I will confess, I didn't have the time, capacity, or money back when I was running an accounting department at a nonprofit. Even if you know there's better solutions, you don't have the time to research them. And even if you do know what the solution should be, you certainly don't have time to implement them. So the number one thing that we do, we go in, we assess what is the flow of information, where can we improve it? And my team is the integrator. My team is the one implementing it and say, okay, this is a system we agree on. And you have to trust that this is the best way to do it for the benefit of us completing an audit, or for anyone to come in and question, do we have receipts? Do we have documentation? Do we have signed contracts? Do we have our house in order? We do, because we have a system for that. And so that's what my team does. And that's what I advise any nonprofit, whether they choose to work with us or otherwise, that they develop workflows and systems that will help them be consistent with any requirement, regardless of who comes in and when they come in. We're ready for it at any time.
Well, and I think that those are some of, people don't quite understand how much technology can help you save hours in the whole process. If you're relying on one piece of paper or several pieces of papers with the original signatures, that's just crazy. There are so many things that can help do things different.